In Consumer Watch, plant-based alternatives to meat might be considered fake, but the growth of the industry is very real. The market for substitute meat is expected to grow 8.4% annually over the next 3 years, and it's expected to be a more than $5 billion industry by 2020.
This year, the plant-based company Beyond Meat saw their stock surge approximately 163%, making it the most successful initial public offering of 2019. But its competitor, Impossible Foods, is also looking to get a bite out of the meatless market, raising $300 million in its latest round of funding.
David Lee is the CFO of Impossible Foods, and he's here at the table. Welcome.
So, full disclosure, I know you and Vlad were talking upstairs. I am a big fan of meatless options. I love the Impossible Burger. I also love, Beyond Burger, but you guys make a very, very good product.
And I am not.
And yeah, but perhaps I will win you over. I don't know, right. Because what we are seeing now are meatless options that are more than just like, okay, you don't want to eat meat, so we'll put something in between the bread.
Right.
What you guys have really tried to do is not only mimic the taste of meat, but the mouthfeel, the experience of eating meat. Do you think that's part of the reason why we're really seeing a growth in people looking for something else to eat, that's looking for an option?
Absolutely. In fact, you are our target customer. I'm a meat eater myself, and if you're a meat eater and you've had all these plant-based options in the past, they just don't hit the spot. The Impossible Burger is the only burger that's plant-based, but it has the exact same molecule. It's called heme, H-E-M-E, which is what a cow needs to turn itself into delicious beefiness. So when you eat a craveable Impossible Burger at White Castle or at the Impossible Whopper in St. Louis at a Burger King, you're experiencing exactly the same chemistry that we were meant to experience from an animal. It's just entirely made out of plants.
So one of the questions, I guess, that a lot of people are going to have is what the nutritional value is of eating a burger like this as opposed to one that is made of real meat. And I guess I want to talk a little bit about the environment, because that's something that a lot of people who may still be huge carnivores are concerned about and may be looking for options that help to save the planet as well. So let's go with first the nutritional value.
Sure. Well, we like to think the Impossible Burger is something you can crave, but it has far fewer of the compromises you tend to get.
So cholesterol.
No cholesterol. Right. It has less fat. It has all the protein you want. It has all the iron you want. It's gluten-free. And most important thing is it was meant to be craveable, because the impact on the environment can never be achieved unless meat eaters like you and me are foregoing that craveable burger from a cow and choosing something better. Whether it's the Impossible Burger or the Beyond Burger, it's got to be something that actually is craved.
So what's the environmental impact, or what can you bring to the table as more and more people consume these meatless options that are helping to protect the planet?
Every time a meat eater, and our consumers are 90+% hardcore carnivores, every time a self-avowed carnivore chooses an Impossible Burger versus a juicy burger from a cow, they save 95% of the land. They use only a quarter of the water that otherwise would have been consumed through the product from an animal. And maybe most importantly, it produces an eighth of the greenhouse gases. You know, those of us who love eating meat, we don't want to think about the fact that animal farming may contribute more to greenhouse gases than all forms of transportation combined. Every plane, train, automobile. And so we like to think that by delighting meat eaters, we might be helping the world be better.
I'm kind of curious about you saying that a lot of the people who eat the Impossible Burger are actually meat eaters. I'm wondering why what have you learned about your customer? Why are they choosing the Impossible Burger at times when they could actually have beef? Because to me, I know we talk a lot about the environment, but typically it's not like a conversation that comes up at a backyard barbecue.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You know, meat eaters like me and like you, we have a love affair with meat. Really, it's an emotional, instinctual attachment to it. The last thing you want to hear about something you truly adore is that it's not good for you and that it's not good for the planet. Mm-hmm. What we really want to hear is that we have a delicious, craveable burger that hits the need for that addiction, the taste, the experience, and yet is better for yourself and the planet.
But is your customer saying, normally I would have a juicy burger, but I thought about the environment or I thought about my health and I'm going to try this Impossible Burger?
I think, like, for example, when someone walks into all the White Castles, they're walking in thinking, I want a craveable slider. And they look at the menu and say, wow, there's something different. It might be better. It's called the Impossible Slider. That experimentation is something that's fundamentally part of going to a restaurant. Then when they try it, if they love the taste and they know that it's better for themselves and the planet, they want to keep on coming back.
Let me ask you real quick, because you're the CFO, let's talk a little business here, the IPO. And we read that there are, people must really be digging it because you're not able to keep up with demand.
Yes.
So what about the IPO? Successful?
Well, first, we're not announcing an IPO.
Okay, you're not.
Although many of us on the management team come from primarily large consumer public companies, and we know how to operate as if we're public, we are very happy to fund our growth, as you just saw, with these great investors like Temasek and Horizon. So we've closed a $300 million
project. No IPO on the table.
We're not in a rush.
Okay, good. That's good.
In a rush.
All right.
We are in a rush to deal with the fact that we've seen a massive surge very quickly in our demand. You know, we're at 7,000 locations across all the U.S. states in restaurants. And yet we have, for example, Burger King announced on their earnings call that they'd love for the Impossible Whopper to be at all of their 7,000 plus locations here in the U.S. So a large part of how we're using our $300 million of recent proceeds is to ensure that we can speed our supply as fast as possible.
And I asked you upstairs about, can I go pick it up at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's? And you're like, we're not doing retail yet.
We really wanted meat eaters to experience the Impossible Burger from the hands of a professional chef. We wanted them to walk in and see it on the menu first.
Right? I mean,
no, I think that's a real.
Making it at home, you'd be like,
I know we're sort of this, you know, we're not sort of a business search channel, but I find the business strategy of Impossible very, very interesting. And it's clear that you've strategically, you know, when you pick Burger King, you're trying to sort of expose yourself to people who normally would never, who are not choosing health food, or else like, why are you walking into Burger King, right?
Yeah.
It's very different than some of your competitors.
Absolutely.
But it's getting a lot of people talking.
Well, did you see that, for example, Katy Perry is one of our many investors. We don't pay for promotion, by the way. We don't buy any endorsements, but she surprised us. She was at the Met Gala, and she showed up dressed as an Impossible Burger.
Is that what she was? I knew she was a burger. I didn't know she was an Impossible Burger.
She was wearing herself as the Impossible Burger.
That's hilarious.
And that's just one sign that the world is ready when influencers that popular, that trend-setting, are embracing this change and are choosing to invest on the same financial terms in us.
And you got Jay-Z, right?
We got Jay-Z. We have Serena Williams. We have many. Many that we don't disclose because, again, we're not seeking to buy promotion. We're just happy to have people literally invested in Impossible Foods talking about the future.
Well, David, it's fascinating talking to you.
Yeah, really cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you very much.
Now we want to try one. Well, you've tried them.
I eat them all the time, so yeah.
I'm next.